What do you think, or what are your expectations from the new CBN governor?
It shows clearly that the president has made the right choice. If you look at the 3 C's of governance, capacity, competence, and capacity, and those who have been appointed into those offices have what it takes to run that. So we hope shortly that the monetary framework and the direction of how the government will go, they will settle quickly, and trying to see how the foreign exchange regime is altered, and see how we can provide a stable micro and macroeconomic environment for business to thrive. And I think the choice of Dr. Yemi Kadaso is the right choice. And like mentioned earlier, in terms of capacity, competence, and character, I think they'll be able to deliver on the value, and Nigerians will be happy for it eventually.
You know, the last handler of CBN, which is Emefiele, you know, it's on record and it's been investigated, you know, that the man overstretched the autonomy of the CBN. We had a situation where the CBN was engaging in importation of fuel, rice, and all that. You know, the primary responsibility of the CBN should be that of monetary policy and fiscal policy. But we had a situation where CBN was making some unilateral decisions, like the redesigning of the Naira. And you could be so bothered that an important ministry like the Ministry of Finance was not being carried along. You know what happened. And then part of what was also being identified is lack of internal control within the CBN, which I'm hoping the new CBN governor will be able to work on that, because you must understand that the primary aim of the CBN is to ensure that you give direction to the economy, especially when it comes to monetary policy. Now, if you look at the exchange rate of Naira to dollar, oh my God, you know, Naira
it's alarming.
It's alarming, you know. The Naira has been allowed to float, and what that means is you're competing against foreign currencies, and you know the pressure on dollar as far as Nigeria is concerned. So I'm hoping the new CBN governor can put measures in place, whether in short term, in medium term, and in long term, to first of all, I think one of his priorities is to rescue the Naira. The Naira is on a free fall, and if care is not taken, something, you know, I don't pray it goes otherwise, but I think it's one of the tasks before the CBN governor, and to also ensure internal control. Part of also what the senators talked about yesterday is to also withstand the pressure from the president, political pressure. You had a situation where the CBN, the former handler, you know, had to even print posters. Interestingly, I was in Abuja when I saw that. I was shocked. You know,
towards his political ambition.
Political and all that. So, and the person still remain as CBN governor. You're wondering, how will you be able to maintain the neutrality of the CBN? You know, election materials are kept with the CBN, and then if you have the boss or the handler of the CBN
running for the same position,
how will you be able to maintain your neutrality? So these are things I'm hoping the new CBN governors and the deputy governors will learn lessons from and be able to improve on those things.
Yes, I'm also, I think they don't even need anybody to tell them, because they've seen the resultant effect of those decisions, and that's why there's a lot of investigation into the activities of not just the former CBN governor, but the CBN as a body. So I think that they do not need anyone to sound the warning bell to them to say, do not go this route. It will not be profitable, not just for the country, but even for you, if you make such decisions and you go along that line. And I hope to see a synergy between the CBN and the Ministry of Finance, because what that looked like was more like a power tussle. One decision is made. They're all working towards the same goal. So it should be on certain ground, on certain levels, a kind of unanimous decision. Everybody knows their role, but we have the finance minister coming to say they were not carried along, and that's not good enough. That's not a body language that is good for development.
So let's hope there will be synergy this time. Sam, what do you think?
I think more for me is that as a central banker, the core should focus on monetary policy regime and isolate themselves from the politics of the day. So once you work as a core professional, and that's why I spoke about capacity earlier and competence. So once they work within the framework of the CBN Act and they isolate themselves from the whims and caprices of political leaders, then they'll be able to provide a monetary framework that sustain the economy over a period of time. And I think we're in for a better time based on the resumes that we saw yesterday.
Okay, we're in for a better time. That's a good one. All right, let's move on. Stakeholders in the health sector have been urged to embrace the newly introduced universal health coverage, which provides quality and affordable health care for all strata. This call was made by Mrs. Modupe Ogundimi, the Director, National Health Insurance Agency. Now, this is talking about universal health coverage. You know, research has shown that the number of Nigerians that, you know, a lot of Nigerians don't have access to health insurance. You have a population of about over 200 million, and statistics have shown that less than 10%, which is like 17%, you know, have access to health insurance in Nigeria. Even those who have health insurance, they will have to pay out of their pocket. You know, we had a medical expert on our show last week who talked about the importance of having health insurance. You have a situation when you fall sick or you need to seek medical care, you don't need to pay out of pocket. You know, it saves your money because you enjoy the insurance package. And you even have a situation, even the health insurance package are somehow limited. You know, there are certain, you know, ailments.
Very limited.
Very limited. And so, but here, the director in charge is emphasizing on the need for Nigerians to key into that, irrespective of whatever is happening. Sam, what do you think? Health insurance?
Great. Health insurance is very good for the citizen, but what is key is the level of education and those who provide service for citizens. So corporate bodies, government department must see it as an important element in terms of welfare provisions for their employees and their staff. So more education on the importance of education. What is key is that fundamentally, once you're able to subscribe to a health insurance, you're able to get basic access to Medicare. So, and I think it's not very expensive, but then people have this apathy towards anything insurance. So the Insurance Commission, in line with NECA and under employers of labor, should encourage employees to subscribe to insurance policy that will help them to have medical attention so that Medicare become easily accessible to a greater majority of citizens.
How do we change this sentiment where people just believe they will be fine? You know, I have this religious belief that, okay, all will be well for me. I don't need insurance, you know, and that people depend on local options and all that, you know. How do we change the narrative for people to begin to embrace the importance of having health insurance, especially at the local level?
The point is that we're a religious country, and people always say that the insurance is the Almighty God. But then, as you live as a human, God has equally made provision for you that there are certain facilities that you need to enjoy. So the point is that, yes, you can have faith in whatever you believe in, but it's key that you subscribe to health insurance schemes so that you access Medicare, and your ability to access Medicare will help you to live a quality life and a longer time on earth before you go to your maker. So education, both by government, employers, and even the employee themselves should put themselves forward to buy into these schemes. And they are not really very expensive. At least you can have basic care. So what you need to do, if you are diagnosed with other threatening ailments, then the package increase naturally. But for basic Medicare, then I think it's just okay that people subscribe to it. And that would be good for the nation. They say healthy people make a healthy nation, and a healthy nation will sustain those kind of economic opportunities that people want to ascribe themselves to.
And I think, too, Nigerians sometimes wait for things like this to be in their face. If you leave it to them to walk into an HMO to say, I want to subscribe to a particular package for health insurance, not very many persons would do it, except they're compelled, maybe as a workplace rule, or it's in their face. You have the health insurance marketers come to them. Until that happens, so many persons will not even think about it and will not do it. So I think it also falls on the lap of the HMOs to do more marketing and try to come into collaboration with a lot of hospitals. You walk into the hospital that you use and you're being told there is a package for insurance. I'm sure a lot of persons will want to sign on to it, but if it's not in their face like that, you leave it at them, then it becomes something that's only very few persons will do.
That's great. Let's move on to the Minister of State now, saying the country is fully committed to climate action and fostering collaboration with other nations. Now, the Minister of State for Environment, Kunle Salako, is telling the whole world that Nigeria is doing everything within its capacity to ensure that they tackle the issue of climate change. Sam, what's your immediate reaction to that?
Well, that's a political statement. What it is that when you make such statements, you must equally walk the talk.
Walk the talk.
But key, climate change is a major global threat to the environment. So what we do as a country is important. Let's key into the various initiatives from the global to the Africa initiative so that we sustain those pronouncements. And it's important that we key into those areas, look at even green energy transition mechanism so that we sustain that space, and is hopeful that we'll be able to benefit from the climate change fund in due course.